Welcome to this fan-requested comparison between the 1999 version of Chris Cormier and the 2013 Dr. Phil Heath. What a comparison this is, I have to say. I thought for sure the doctor would have Chris Cormier, the real deal, Chris Cormier's number. But now, when I lay it down here, it's plain for me to see that Cormier will have a lot of advantages on the doctor. Sure, doctor has a bigger set of legs, but Chris Cormier's legs are phenomenal, coupled with that little tiny waist, and you can keep the extra size Phil Heath because I prefer Chris Cormier in the front relaxed position. The doctor has a bigger set of arms, but Cormier battles back with his superior structure, a much wider clavicle, and just dreamlike set of pecs there. That chest, world class on Chris Cormier. Cormier a little bit taller, and of course he stands up a little straighter too, so he's going to have the advantage in the height. Turn them around, and there you have it, guys. And I knew this going into this matchup. Chris Cormier, he has no glutes. And the doctor, probably the best set of glutes in bodybuilding history. Some may argue Ronnie Coleman, but they're a little too big if you ask me. Branch Warren's got a good set too. But anyway, the conditioning of Phil Heath's lower back, just unreal. The back of Chris Cormier, it's almost as good as the doctor's. A little bit weaker in the traps, I guess you could say, but that lower lat insertion, it's much different genetically speaking, but it's incredible. But either way, when you look at the glutes, knockout shot, but I gave Chris Cormier the edge in the front relaxed. Definitely wasn't as dominant as this one. But I'll say it's even for the symmetry round. And we'll head on in, of course, to the muscularity round, beginning with the front double bicep pose. Probably the oldest of all the bodybuilding poses, but really, who knows? More than likely it was the most muscular. But anyway, we don't need a history lesson. Dr. Phil, he does have more complete arms when you think about the triceps and, of course, those forearms. He's really nailing Chris Cormier in that region. Of course, Chris has the waistline, and like I said earlier, maybe a smaller set of legs, or probably are a smaller set when you look at the upper thigh. But when you look at the waistline, the legs I prefer. Phil, a better set of calves. The calves and the forearms are going to go to the doctor pretty much every pose I can imagine. But the torso, the wide waist, or the wide clavicle, I should say, the wide chest, and that tiny waistline of Chris Cormier, it's a tight one, I'm here to tell you, in the front double bicep pose. I would lean towards Chris because of the physique, but those arms of the doctor, you could easily give him the point as well. Front lat spread, this is another one. The doctor appears to have better conditioning when you look at the upper body. Look at the vascularity, just unreal. And of course, he is a bigger man. Chris Cormier, this is a spread eagle stance, a wide stance. I'm not so sure that this is the best one for Cormier to use. Let's bring another one up. And yes, I much prefer this one here. I don't know, guys. It's pretty close in both the front double bi and this front lat spread. But I wager to say, and I'm surprised at this, that Chris Cormier may have an edge. And there is, of course, the back shots. We know they are coming. But heck, if Chris Cormier can get a couple of points on the doctor, that's kudos to him. Side chest, and I would definitely go with the doctor in this one. Chest seems to be better displayed, more rounder, fuller. Seems Chris has a little bit of a gyno. It's not gyno, I know, but it seems like he has a little bit of soft tissue around that nipple. That and the longer torsoed individuals and shorter legged guys. I'm not saying Chris Cormier has short legs, but he definitely has a long torso. It doesn't favor them in the side chest, I don't think. Phil Heath, the longer-legged individual, he looks good from the side. Much like a Patrick Moore side chest, they really pull this one off. That hanging hamstring. Dr. Phil, just unbelievable. Smoother Chris Cormier is, surprisingly, when you look at the midsection. Anyway, Dr. Phil, of course, gets side chest, and the side tricep is a knockout shot for the doctor. Just look at the overall display. How he has that leg, the hanging hamstring, and the glutes. Just unreal. Chris Cormier, of course he has the chest. Just far dominant in that region. Unbelievably, really. But anyway, you look at the tricep, and it is a knockout shot. The doctor has the arm. Wow, look at that big, powerful arm. From forearm to tricep to bicep to delt, he has the advantage as far as both of the limbs are concerned, at least in the side. Alright, guys, this is not really a surprise to me when you look at the glutes, but when you pan around, you look at the back development, and I actually seen a lot of video comparisons on the internet about these two in their rear lat spreads, and how gosh darn close this was. Of course, excluding the glutes, and actually Chris Cormier a pretty good darn set of hamstrings, to tell you the truth. Maybe not as hard and as grainy. He is tilted thusly, so we'll bring this one up. It's not as clear, and he's not as hard in the hamstrings as he was in the previous picture, and the glutes are a write-off, of course. But when you look at the back development, he is sitting and or standing up, and he's boxing with the doctor. And when you look at the vascularity in the back of those arms of Cormier, it's a good, gosh darn good little fight here. But of course, look at the glutes, and we're wasting our time. Dr. Phil gets the rear lat spread, rear double bi. Now, Chris Cormier, he has the capabilities of hitting a shot like this as far as the back is concerned. Once again, kudos to those hamstrings of Chris Cormier. Some of the best hamstrings in the business. But the doctor, he's leaning back in his shot. This maximizes your lower lat insertions, and it minimizes your waistline. And that's why the doctor's waist looks so small in this shot. He's holding his legs forward and his butt forward. He's sticking his stomach out and therefore making his waistline farther back. Anyway, enough of that explanation. Chris Cormier, he's standing up straight, minimizes the thickness of the back. He should have did the same thing the doctor was doing. But there would be no back shot or back practicing in the world that would save Cormier and his soft glutes in any back shots against the doctor. Of course, this shot here, no doubt. I could not see any Dorianite for a Phil Heath in the world, a lover of a Phil Heath, if you don't know what a Dorianite is. I can't see anybody giving this one to Phil Heath, even a Chris Cormier hater, which are probably very rare. The guy doesn't have a huge following. In fact, most Chris Cormier videos don't do all that well, and it puzzles me. So I'm hoping this one will change that. Chris Cormier, 1999. Just blasting Phil Heath out of the whatever. Look at the wide clavicle. That's an advantage in this pose. Look at the abs. Look at the abs, guys. And the doctor always usually has the advantage in the lag, but not now. Not now. Chris Cormier feathering for days, nights even. All right, guys, the most muscular, and this is a real shocker to me. A real shocker. And it should be to you too. I'm actually going to make this one the thumbnail to make you guys think about this one. This is unreal. Think about it. Chris Cormier, 5 feet 10 inches. The doctor around 5 feet 9. He had a good inch, maybe even an inch and a half on him, considering the doctor always crouched in his poses. And Chris Cormier, other than the front lat spread, he usually stood up pretty straight, maybe in the front double bi. But anyway, he was a bigger man when you consider the clavicle, things of that nature, and a lot leaner. But anyway, I'm kind of beating around the bush. I actually prefer Chris Cormier in this pose, and I am going to get a lot of hate comments, and you guys often attack me when I tell the truth. But either way, Chris Cormier gets the Duke in this most muscular anyway. But considering there was no crab position to do a comparison on, we're safe to assume the doctor probably would have battled back in that region. But anyway, a little bit of politics, because on the score sheet it does show a tie, but it was very close and inconclusive in the front double and the front lat spread, considering the conditioning of the doctor. And it was a blowout when you consider the glutes, and that's conditioning. So it's a no-brainer, guys. The doctor, Dr. Phil Heath, gets the win, but I'm here to tell you it was more of a stipulation because of those glutes. Had it not been for that, then the doctor would have been in trouble, because structurally speaking, aside from the glutes, of course that has nothing to do with the structure. Structurally speaking, Chris Cormier was better than the doctor, Dr. Phil Heath. The guy had no weak points, much like the doctor, and a far, far better waistline. Anyway, don't want to take this victory away from the doctor. He is your winner, 2013, Dr. Phil Heath. I don't have the name of the person that requested this matchup, so come forth and let me know it was you, and I'll tag you at the top of the comment section. Hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a good night.